Welcome back to part 2 of this mini series where we're focusing on 3 undeniable truths. If you didn't catch the first video where we talked about how everything you do is either building trust or losing trust, then make sure you go back and watch that one, because it's going to help you understand why we've structured and set up the things we did in this next video. So in this one, I've said this in the first one. If this is your first time coming in on this video and being a part of this series, this one is going to be very tactical, more technical, because we're going to dive into ways that we've set up our CRM and help you understand and see some of the features and things that we've done within Capitallyst Pro to help people raise more capital on autopilot. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So as I mentioned on that first video there, we focused on how everything you do is either building trust or breaking it. On this video, we are really going to be honing in on the fact that your brain is not a CRM. And I know that sounds dumb. And some of you are like, well, yeah, no duh, Dallin. But the reality is people's actions and what we've observed says otherwise. So we all know that person that's raised millions of dollars, right? We know those people. They've done it on just their cell phone. They've done it on yellow pieces of paper. They've done it on maybe Google Sheets or Excel. We all know somebody that's likely raised capital in that way. And they've done it probably very successfully. But what we've realized is that everybody reaches a point where they need to start integrating some systems, some tools, some tech. And where things are nowadays, there's absolutely no reason you shouldn't be introducing some sort of tech into your capital raise. And sure, I've had this literal conversation with people. It's like, yeah, you've raised $15 million without it, but how much capital do you think you allowed slip through the cracks because you were trying to use your brain as a CRM? And once we start going down that path and we start asking questions, they realize that they've often left millions of dollars, millions on the table because they didn't have a proper system in place or a proper CRM. So that's really what we're going to be diving in today. And the 3 things that I want to focus on is 3 things a CRM must do. And so there's a lot we can unpack here. If you guys want to learn more about Capitallyst Pro, see a demo, check out our website. We host free workshops. Okay. This is at a high level. These are the 3 most basic things that a CRM must do. And number 1 is to capture leads. And I want to talk about this for a minute because lead capture is not the same thing as a lead magnet. And it's important to understand this. So what I see a lot is people just putting together some ebook or PDF or something that ChatGPT just came up with. People can see through that, right? There's good intentions behind it, right? Like, hey, here's a free resource in exchange for your email. People that can work if it's positioned properly. So lead capture, that's any way you can get somebody's name and email, right? And that's done through any types of forms, right? Whether that's a networking form, whether that's a sign-up form on your website, that's lead capture. A lead magnet, this is Alex Hormozy. This is the way he explained it, and it made so much sense. A lead magnet is a complete solution to a narrow problem. And I'm going to share with you an example of one that we have built and that some of our users are using. So this here is an example of a lead capture form. This is our digital business card. We have it programmed to a metal tap card with a QR code. It's laser engraved with our logo, and we've done these for our users. It's a lot of fun. But when that card is tapped or that QR code is scanned, it comes to this networking form. So you don't need to worry about blank. Get rid of hi, hello, dot. There's all these other ones out here. We have one directly integrated into Capitallyst Pro. So when people scan, this is what they see. Well, obviously not mine. It's their brand, their picture. And when they're at networking events, they're able to exchange information seamlessly. And when they fill out this form, it goes directly into the CRM. So this is an example of lead capture, right? It's an exchange of information. I wouldn't refer to this as a lead magnet. It's not a complete solution to a narrow problem. So let me share with you, this is an example of a lead magnet that we've created and a lot of our users are using. So when people are newer to investments, they might think they're very conservative, they might be more moderate, or they might have a higher tolerance for it, or they don't know. So one of our favorite things that we like to do is introduce quiz funnels. So what this one is that we put together, you can see the title here, What's My Investment Risk Profile? If you help people get clarity on what to do next, that builds trust and it helps move them along. This is 10 questions that they can go through, and at the end of it, the response that they get, whether it's a low risk, moderate risk, or high risk, is dependent on the way they answer the questions. So think of it as your choose your own journey, right? So what this does is it provides you with a lot of good information about this individual, and it provides them with clarity on what type of investment risk profile they have. So this is an example of a lead magnet because in order to get the results, they have to put in their information. So we love quiz funnels. We have so many different variations of them. They can be very, very effective. But just keep that in mind, right? A lead capture form is not the same thing as a lead magnet. A lead magnet is a complete solution to a narrow problem. So this is just an example of what we put together for one. So, oh, and this is pretty neat. So it's like, yeah, that's cool, Dallin. How do you set it up? What you just saw here come up on the screen, this is how we've structured it. We've programmed the back end of the system that based on how they answer those questions, we assign different points and then it delivers that specific result. So we can be very targeted with it. So pretty handy. A lot of our users like it, and there's so many different variations you can do. If you want to see another version of a quiz funnel, in the description, we actually have what we refer to as the conversion compass. So a lot of people don't know where they're losing leads in their capital flow pipeline. They don't understand where people are coming in and where they're dropping off. So what that conversion compass does, again, you answer a few questions, but it helps you identify, hey, you need to focus more on the awareness, or hey, people are coming in, but then they're falling out through the consideration stage. You're not doing a good enough job nurturing them. In fact, we did a whole 4 or 5 videos on that capital flow funnel. So go ahead and check those out on our channel. That would be very, very helpful for you if you're newer to capital raising or just trying to get clarity on where people might be falling through the cracks. So anyways, down in the description, if you want to take the conversion compass quiz, that will identify which one of those stages that you might want to focus on the most. So super helpful, right? Complete solution, narrow problem. That's a lead magnet, and people are more than willing to give up their information if it solves a problem that they're going through. Okay. So in this case, clarity. All right. So number 2 of 3 things a CRM must do, nurture leads. Now, I've talked to so many different people that are like, oh yeah, no, I got a drip campaign. I got a nurture campaign. And when we dive deeper into it, we realize, okay, they got like 3 or 5 emails. So when somebody comes in, they get that email, and then maybe they get a newsletter once a month. That's not nurturing. I mean, I guess it is. It's just a very poor form of it. Nurturing is really about building trust. So remember that question I asked on the first video? What's one thing all investors need before they invest? It's trust. Now, this nurturing, sometimes this can be automated to help out, not to replace you. I want to stress that. Automation isn't there to completely replace you. It's to assist you and to help you. So maybe this has the automation sends more frequent touch points to the person, but then it's still up to you to reach out and have that personal connection. But what it does is it helps you identify when to do that and who to do it with. So you're not wasting your time with people that aren't ready to work with you. So think of it this way, okay? This bucket of water is we'll call it your CRM and your nurturing bucket. And the water flowing in are leads. These are people you're meeting at events, you're meeting online, you're meeting at workshops. You keep your paid ads maybe if you go down that path. The reality is people think they need more and more leads, and we've realized the complete opposite. Now, you can never have enough leads, don't get me wrong, but people have this bucket or this system that is just punctured with holes. And so leads are flowing into this bucket and just flowing right back out. And so when it comes to nurturing your leads, focus on patching the bucket first. That is your nurturing system. That is your nurturing tool. And then once you have those holes patched, then turn on the lead machine, then turn on the paid ads, then start funneling people in. But if you don't know where these holes are, you're going to be putting all this time and effort into building awareness and getting people in, and then they're just going to be flowing right back out. Patch your bucket. And that's the conversion compass. That's one of those things that helps you do. It helps you identify where those holes are. So when it comes to nurturing leads, there's really 3 things that we've noticed really has a negative impact or doesn't move people through that trust timeline as quickly as it should. Number 1 is poor email deliverability. It doesn't matter how good your CRM is or how good your emails look. If people aren't hearing about your deals or they're not seeing it in their inbox, it's kind of hard to build trust. Kind of hard to build trust with somebody when they don't know who you are and you're not consistently showing up. So email deliverability is critical in making sure you have a good system and a good CRM that's taking care of these people. Number 2 is not tracking engagement. I can't stress this enough. So on social media, you can track who comments, who likes, your impressions, your views, things like that. Within a good system and within Capitallyst Pro, we can track everything that they're doing, what links they're clicking on. And what we do is we quantify those actions. So we quantify their engagement. If they open an email, we're giving them points. If they're clicking in that email, we're going to give them a little bit more points because that's a higher engagement activity. If they schedule a call, we're giving them points. If they register for a workshop, we're giving them points. If they download a free resource, we're giving them points. And we weight these points based on their engagement, based on their activity. And so it takes all the guesswork out of it. We no longer have to wonder if somebody's engaged. We just look at their engagement score because once that system is set up, it does it automatically. The third thing that we've seen impact people's ability to effectively nurture is just generic nurturing, meaning they just have a one drip campaign and everybody gets the same emails every single week and they're not meeting people where they're at. This is about building trust and connection and then using a tool and automation to help assist you, not replace you. And so many people introduce these systems and these tools to replace them, and they do a shitty job nurturing and they wonder why people aren't scheduling calls. So what do I mean by this? Okay, back up before I get into the nurturing. I forgot I have this free resource for you. It's also going to be in the description down below. These are the 10 best practices for email deliverability. And if done and fixed properly, you're going to be experiencing higher open rates than you probably have anywhere else. So to give you an example here. So a good target open rate when you're using any CRM or email marketing tool is 40 to 60% in our industry. This is pretty standard. If you have a good list, people are engaging, you have your DNS record set up properly, and you go through that list that you can opt into or grab from the description, there's no reason you shouldn't be between 40 and 60%. But here's the reality. Check this out. So this was an email, one of the emails we sent from our system, and one of the other emails was one of our users. So you can see email number 1, 79.36% open rate. And then the email below, 82.08%. Now, some of you are probably thinking like, okay, yeah, you probably just sent this to 10 people and that's why that number's so high. No. This was sent to nearly 1,500 people, but it was a targeted list. These were people that we knew were engaged because we were tracking their scoring, right? So implementing those email deliverability best practices, it's going to be critical, it's going to be helpful, but there's even more to it. And if done properly, we have users that are getting over 80% open rates on their emails. Think about that. If you have a list of 1,000 people, investors that you're emailing, and only 40% of them, so that's 400 of them, are opening that email or even seeing it, what are your chances of raising more capital if you knew more than 800 people were seeing that email? It's possible. We've done it and our users have done it, okay? So that's email deliverability, making sure that your system is set up properly to deliver. So the other thing here, this is actually a screenshot of our CRM. Sometimes it's easier to do this than actually do a live demo. But what you can see here, where this box is around, this is the actual engagement score of somebody in our CRM. And so that was tracking everything this person was doing. And so we knew how engaged they were before they even contacted us. And if they didn't contact us, guess what? We have notifications in there for us to contact them to continue that conversation. That's the power of engagement scoring and using automation. So now let's talk about generic nurturing, okay? So what most people do, and this is the example I shared earlier, they have people come in and then they send them into, I'll just call it a core email drip. This is just either a monthly email, weekly email, everybody gets the same boring blah, okay? What if you progressively nurtured these people, meaning you met them where they were at? And what do I mean by that? So in this core email drip, this is one of the things that we're building out right now for our users. There's targeted emails in there that are referring to different pain points that our users' ideal client typically go through. So that's taxes, self-directed IRAs, asset protection, sharing case studies. So in that core email drip, there's hints to some of these other things. So if that email is opened, or that email is clicked with the resource that's inside, these people then move out of the core email drip and into that more targeted campaign that's focused on what they engaged with. That's progressive nurturing, okay? So say you host a self-directed IRA workshop, you send people the core email drip, they click on the self-directed IRA email and they registered for the workshop. What does that tell you about what they're interested in? Self-directed IRAs. So why are you gonna blast them with tax benefits if that's not the case, right? And imagine somebody just sold their business. They sold their business, they're sitting on a fat capital gains tax. Are they gonna be that interested in a self-directed IRA, or are they gonna be interested in how you can protect them and shelter some of those taxes? So that's something just to consider, but that's what I mean by progressive nurturing and not doing a generic. Meet people where they're at and give them what they want and what they're engaging on. And if the system is set up properly, it's going to do this for you. And that brings us to the third thing that a CRM should do, and that should simplify and save you time. It can replace you in some aspects, but again, it's not going to replace you 100% of the time. So what do I mean by simplify and save you time? Here's again an example. This is a pipeline that we have people in, so we can track where they're at. And again, if you watch my first video, it's not a sales pipeline, it's a trust timeline. So in the system here, you can set up what that trust timeline looks like, what those people need to go through, what they need to experience, and then you can move them through. So this helps us understand where people are at in their journey, so we don't even have to remember and we don't have to guess. It's right there. Okay. The second one are tasks. There's always people. We've all experienced this where it's like, oh, shoot, I forgot to give Dallin a call. I told him 2 weeks ago I'd give him a call tomorrow. We've all been there, and it's okay. Again, your brain is not a CRM, but what if you had a tool that could automate these reminders for you? And sometimes it might even be able to send that text or that email to that person, depending on how you have it structured. But if nothing else, maybe it just takes all the brain work of having to remember because it creates an automated task. So now you just come into your CRM every day. It's like, hey, who do I need to reach out today? Oh yeah, boom, 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 boom. And you just go through your list. Now you're being much more efficient and effective with your time. Now, this is a standard contact card, but this has everything. It shows all the conversations, all the texts, all the emails, all the notes. Everything that this person was doing is all right here. So again, you don't have to remember all of it. Keep it in the system so that when you do re-engage with this person, you can go back to it and you can look at the notes and you can remember, oh yeah, I talked to Dallin about how his kid was in gymnastics, right? So then when you reach out to that person, hey, Dallin, how's your girl doing in gymnastics, right? So it's just one of those pieces that helps you be more intentional to maintain that connection and build that trust with people. I can't stress this enough. Your brain is not a CRM. So look, I know that's a lot of information. Some of you probably have some more questions and want to understand how some of these things are really built out. We're putting out more videos. We're putting out more tutorials to help you really understand this. But at a high level, hopefully you better understand how tactical and technical you should be with your CRM, and just gives you some ideas of things that you can do. Now, what I shared with you here, we just barely scratched the surface of what Capitallyst Pro can do and what we educate our users on how to really master their CRM for raising capital. So this wraps up the second video in this mini series. So appreciate you joining us. Again, if you haven't watched the first one yet, make sure you go back and watch that, because we really dive into how helping you understand and realize that everything you do is either building trust or you're losing trust. And what we're going to jump into on the next video, for those of you that are going to be sticking around or maybe going right into this, and for those of you that are going to go right back into video number 3 of this mini series, what we're really going to be focusing on is how money follows where value leads. So this one's going to be, again, a little bit higher level. We're going to be focusing on the concepts, and hopefully what you'll do is walk away with some ideas and ways to connect with people that you know are interested, but they may not be quite there, ready to invest. So what I'm going to share with you on the next video will hopefully spark some ideas for you so that you could continue moving them through the trust timeline. We'll catch you on the next video.